Here it is, the monstrosity, the Hulk, weighing in at 1 kilogram. This thing is gigantic. Let's try it out.
What up, dudes? This is Senpai Kai, and dude, I've snuck my way onto the Babish culinary universe. Yo, hold up. I thought the whole thing here was that I didn't have to show my face. There we go, there we go. Now I feel like I'm in the BCU. This is the first episode of Street Food with Senpai, and we're going to be recreating Mumbai's biggest sandwich, featured on Best Ever Food Review Show. This beast is originally made by Om Snacks, a street vendor posted up in Mumbai, India. 5 layers of bread stuffed with chutneys, masalas, and a couple fistfuls of cheese. First thing we gotta make is the chaat masala. It's a funky, tangy, and sour spice mix typically used for street snacks, so very different from garam masala. In a blender, combine 2.5 tablespoons of amchur, which is dried mango, 2 tablespoons of cumin seeds, 2 teaspoons ajwan seeds, 1 tablespoon coriander seeds, half a teaspoon dried mint, 1.5 teaspoons fennel seeds, 1 teaspoon Kashmiri chili powder, 3/4 teaspoon ground ginger, and half a teaspoon of asafoetida. Whoa, so many words. I like to blend it all first, so it all toasts evenly and conveniently, all at once. Toast over medium heat until very, very fragrant. It should smoke, but not burn, preferably. And transfer all that to a bowl with your hands, I guess. And that's your powerhouse chaat masala we're gonna be using. Man, get a close-up of that. Oof. Yo, this camera is sick. One of the star ingredients they used was what the owner called in-house sauce. Very secretive. Appears to be a very chunky tomato masala situation. So we'll call our own version the in-studio sauce. In a wide pot, saute half a red onion chopped small and 1 serrano sliced thin, followed by a red and green bell pepper. Give it the old shimmy, a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of the chaat masala, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and half a teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder, and toast for a minute or 3. Add in 2 large tomatoes diced and cook at medium-high until almost all the water is gone. Let's call 8-ish minutes. Taste and adjust for salt and cool it down. That's it, yo. Actually, that is not it, yo. Stir in 2 tablespoons of full-fat Greek yogurt. And now we're done, I think. You want this to be thick so it doesn't get the sandwich all soggy. They also had an onion masala stuffed in one of those 37 layers. Looked very similar to the tomato masala, maybe a little bit more chunky, so it's gonna be a very similar preparation. Saute 1 red onion and 1 serrano. Add 3/4 teaspoon grated ginger and 1 clove minced garlic, along with 1.5 teaspoons of the chaat masala, blooming the spices for a minute. In goes 3 large diced tomatoes and a big pinch of salt. Same deal, saute until almost all the water's evaporated. And honestly, you could just eat this over basmati rice or roti and call it a day. But we got a big booty sandwich to make. Now, the most interesting component that they used was the cubed up paneer, marinated in what looked like a tamarind sauce. Combine 2 tablespoons tamarind paste, 2 tablespoons brown sugar, 1 tablespoon honey, and half a cup of water into a small pot. One that I guess doesn't register on this induction burner. I guess size does matter. This John is insanely flavorful. Look at it as a boosted up sweet and sour sauce. You can use this for steaks, roasts, or to glaze something like carrots or Brussels sprouts. Like, imagine this on an Italian grinder? Ooh. Once it comes up to a boil, add a cornstarch slurry to thicken. After a minute, add a green chili, a shallot, and 1 tablespoon each cilantro and mint. Also add half a teaspoon of cumin. Mix that up and that's it. Transfer to a large bowl that'll fit the paneer. Paneer is just fresh cheese, very common in India, that'll hold its shape really well without melting. Cut it into medium to large cubes and toss with the tamarind and a big pinch of salt. Wicked easy. The longer this sits, the better. Okay, last thing we gotta make, I swear. The green chutney, also super simple and delicious. In a food processor or blender, combine 1 serrano, 1 garlic, and also a smile for the camera, ayy. Calm down, Andrew, I know you're watching. Also 1 teaspoon cumin, and the jugo of half a lemon, 3/4 cup of mint, 1 cup of cilantro, and that John ready to blend. Season with salt, and boom. That's another god tier sauce. Put it on any sando or slam dunk some chicken in there. People really out here sleeping on mint. And here we go. This is most of the components for the sando. This will make you quite a few of these gut busters. Oh, I keep knocking things over and forgetting to lay out what looks like pedestrian white bread featured on this sandwich. They had this really interesting triangular shape that we won't be replicating just because US grocery stores are not cool enough. And we've already made like 50 components for this sandwich. Roughly. Alright, yo, let's oil up this baking sheet and lay down 2 pieces of bread to begin assembling on what may be the first pre-cut cross-section featured on the BCU. Generously lather the bread with butter and green chutney, dice green bell peppers, and sliced tomatoes with the dusting of chaat masala. Then mozzarella cheese, the first layer of many. Another layer of bread with the butter chutney combo, and coming in hot with that in-studio sauce. And more cheese. Another one. The bread, that is. Diced red onions this time, and the tamarind paneer, straining off all that liquid. Cheese, bread, onion masala, and more cheese. Only butter and chutney on the bottom side of this last bread. Then a ridiculous amount of mayo. Okay, maybe not that much, but still enough to induce a very, very long nap. Also a tiny bit more cheese for good luck. Dry oregano, red chili flakes. Launch that behemoth in the broiler on low until she golden and melty. At a low broil, maybe around 10 minutes. But if you sit there and watch it, an hour and 37 minutes. Shee! Let's admire that for a second. And thank God it didn't fall over like we thought it might. Double spatula technique into a smooth offload. Yo, this is gonna be a sick thumbnail. And let's peep out this cheese pull. Oh, it's still going. Classic cross-section shot. People love that. That's what I call meal prepping. No more games, son. Let's get a lick of this. As you can imagine, definitely not lacking in any flavor. All that cheese becomes more of a creamy accent to all the spices and textures involved. The tomato and onion masala bring crazy umami and flavors. And the green chutney helps brighten and freshen up this level 99 sandwich. Tons of crazy texture from the fresh veggies and a sweet, chewy, acidic blast from the tamarind paneer. I'm still blown away by that. That's such a brilliant move that you don't ever really see in American cooking. The only downside, I think this has ruined sandwiches for me forever. I suppose you could share this if you wanted to. It's only 9,000 calories.